the Director of Ceremonies, the First Lady, Dr. Mnangagwa, the Vice President, Honorable General Retired Dr. C.J.D.N. Chiwenga and Amai Chiwenga, the Vice President, Honorable Colonel Retired K.C.D. Moadi, the Minister of Defense and Chairman of ZANU-PF, Honorable O.C.Z. Mchinguri Kashiri, the Minister of State for Harare Metropolitan Province, Honorable Charles Z. Tawengwa, the Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Advocate J.F.N. Mudenda, the President of the Senate, Honorable Amai M.M. Chinomona, the Chief Justice, Honorable Justice Luke Malava, Honorable Ministers and Deputy Ministers who are here, members of the Politburo and Central Committee of the ruling party who are here, and other members of other political parties who are here, the Chief Secretary to the President and Cabinet, Dr. Martin Rushwaya, Chairman of the Public Service Commission, Dr. Vincent Ungwe, Commander Defense Forces, General Philip V. Svanda, Commander Zimbabwe National Army, Lieutenant General Matatu, Commander Air Force of Zimbabwe, Air Marshal Zede, Commissioner General, Zimbabwe Republic Police, Commissioner Mtamba, Commissioner General, Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Services, Commissioner Chovu, Director General, President's Department, Dr. Mangwanya. Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Mazimambedu, Muripano, Dinokuremekedzai, senior government officials who are here, veterans of the liberation struggle, His Worship the Mayor of Harare, Councillor J. Mafume, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends. It is with a great sense of pride and honor that I address you on this occasion, marking the 45th Zimbabwe Defense Forces Day. This event comes after our Heroes' Day commemorations held yesterday in honor of the gallant sons and daughters who helped liberate our motherland, Zimbabwe, from the yoke of colonialism. On this occasion, we salute and celebrate the Zimbabwe Defense Forces for their commendable work of safeguarding and protecting the independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity of our great motherland, Zimbabwe. Further, we acknowledge and remember the men and women who formed the nucleus of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces in 1980, who were largely drawn from Zimbabwe African National Liberation Army, ZANLA, and the Zimbabwe People's Revolutionary Army, ZIPRA. The past 45 years have seen officers, men and women, emerging, many of whom were born after our independence. Meanwhile, our national security apparatus continues to change and adapt. This is also in response to the contemporary national and global security and economic aspirations of our people. The Defense Force is indeed in a new epoch. As we look in the future, you, the officers, men and women who now constitute the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, must never forget that journey to independence, sovereignty, peace and unity which we are enjoying today. The agonizing suffering afflicted by the brutal racist colonial regime and protracted war of liberation is etched in our national memory. The people of our country were subjected to oppression, segregation, and displacement from our motherland. Likewise, nationalists and freedom fighters endured treacherous environments and situations, including fighting many battles, detention, imprisonment, and restrictions. Many died in the ruthless massacres, while others lie in marked and unmarked graves here to home and within the region. Our rich liberation heritage must, therefore, embolden you as the current crop of the Defense Forces to remain a formidable, dependable, and disciplined force. You remain beacons of our nation's peace, our security, and socio-economic development. This is well stated in this year's commemoration theme, which says, and I quote, Zimbabwe Defense Forces guaranteeing peace and stability for the attainment of Vision 2030, end of quote. Comrades and friends, the fast-paced and multi-pronged global developments require that the Zimbabwe Defense Forces spreads beyond the traditional role of defending our national sovereignty and territorial integrity from external military threats. I, therefore, challenge the Defense Forces to continue increasing their capabilities around a wider range of threats that relate to economic instability, climate change, cyber attacks, pandemics, and terrorism. In this spirit, I applaud the various initiatives being undertaken by our forces to provide military aid to civil power. This includes activities with regards to border control and the combating of drug and substance abuse. The role of ZDF in addressing climate change and disaster preparedness is worthy commendation. During the last rain season, the involvement of our forces in the search and rescue operations to assist the villagers affected by floods brought speedy relief to the affected communities. These included in areas such as Ada Sanyati, Sebakwe and Gokwe, Ngomauru Mountain in Domboshava, and at the confluence Runde Tokwe rivers in Tokwe Mukosi. The logistical support in the airlifting of stranded persons, as well as the distribution of grain to affected communities, ensures that no individual or family dies from hunger. Well done, our armed forces. My fellow citizen Zimbabweans, Zimbabwe is a friend to all and an enemy to none. However, as an independent and sovereign country, we will never sacrifice our legitimate rights and interests or our peace and security. Colonial oppression and liberation struggle exposed us to brutality and suffering that can result from war and conflict. Zimbabwe's commitment to national, regional, and continental peace, as well as to a peaceful international order anchored on the equality of nations, is therefore unshakable. We continue to work for the peaceful resolution of international disputes and to support the SADC, African Union, and the United Nations initiatives in this regard. To date, members of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces are deployed for peace support operations under the auspices of SADC, the African Union, and the United Nations in various international peace and security initiatives. These are stationed at the United Nations headquarters in New York, as well as at the United Nations missions in South Sudan, Abyei Central African Republic, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and in Ethiopia. To be able to effectively execute its roles, both internally and with regards to international obligations, it is critically important that the ZDF maintains robust training and capacity building programs. In this regard, Zimbabwe remains ready to expand mutually beneficial relations in the field of military and defense cooperation, in keeping with our engagement, re-engagement policy. It is commendable that ongoing training exchange programs are widening and deepening the skill sets within the Zimbabwe Defense Forces towards enhanced organizational efficiency and proficiency, regional interoperability, combat efficiency, and exposure to varied equipment and technology. Zimbabwe appreciates the bilateral defense and security cooperation with the People's Republic of China, the Russian Federation, Pakistan, India, Greece, Malaysia, Egypt, Nigeria, Tanzania, South Africa, Namibia, Kenya, Mozambique, Zambia, Botswana, Malawi, Eswatini, and Lesotho, among many others. The Zimbabwe Defense Forces has also hosted a number of foreign military student delegations on study tours. Additionally, the Zimbabwe Defense Forces is set to host the SADC Peace Support Operations Field Training Exercise, SADC Maritime Exercise, as well as the SADC Aviation Exercise. All these attest to the growing ties and strong solidarity between Zimbabwe Defense Forces and other friendly forces across the globe. The Zimbabwe National Defense University has become one of the centers of excellency in defense and security studies in the SADC region. Members of the public are welcome to enroll for programs offered by this university. We have made significant strides towards becoming a mine-free country, as only 4% of the original 850 kilometers of minefields remain infested. The most recent milestone being the completion of the receipt to Muzite Mission minefield in December 2024. This has made Manicaland Province a mine-free territory. I congratulate the Zimbabwe Defense Forces for a job well done. Makorokoto. Amhlope. My gratitude is also extended to the development partners, international humanitarian demining organizations, for the financial and material support extended to the program. On its part, my government will continue to capacitate the Zimbabwe Defense Forces National Mine Clearance Unit. Comrades and friends, government's improvement of the conditions of service for members of Zimbabwe Defense Forces is ongoing. The Defense Forces Service Commission is engaged in a process to rationalize the inter-rank salary differentials. This is being done in tandem with the efforts to finalize the implementation of the military salary concept. In the area of health delivery, my administration is accelerating the completion of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces Referral Hospital at Manyame Air Force Base. Refurbishment, upgrading and modernization projects of other medical facilities in cantonment areas throughout the country are being supported and speeded up. Innovative financing models employed by government are resolving the perennial shortage of institutional accommodation for serving members of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. The need to address the transport challenges besetting defense forces has become a key priority. A phased program is in place to add an assortment of vehicles for various ZDF operational requirements, including a fleet of buses to transport members. With regards to memorializing and immortalizing our rich liberation heritage, the Minister of Defense, in liaison with our departments and agencies, as well as the government of the Republic of Mozambique, in constructing a monument and a health center in Masinga district in Nyambane province is ongoing. This is in honor and memory of our late wartime commander, our national hero, General Josiah Magama Tongogara. Similar processes were also established monuments at former Zipra bases in Angola, where freedom fighters lie in mass graves. We thank the governments and peoples of Mozambique, Zambia, and Angola for their support and cooperation in these matters. My fellow countrymen and women, comrades and friends, Nyika inovakwa, igotongwa, igonamatirwa. Hallelujah. All of us have a role to play in building our motherland, Zimbabwe, including the defense forces and the members of the security sector as a whole. It is exemplary that our defense forces continues to undertake social responsibility projects, which are having a transformational impact on our people at the community level. The 2025 Defense Forces Community Assistance Week, which preceded these commemorations, saw the handover of various community projects undertaken by the defense forces throughout the country. Others are at various stages of completion, including 29 projects in the education sector and 4 clinics in the health sector, respectively. Ministries, departments, and agencies are also receiving support of the defense forces in several other construction works, such as the registry offices in Buera, a veterinary services office block in Binga, infrastructure for a communal dairy in Mtasa, a traditional course for chiefs, among others. I extend my government's gratitude to the business community and other well-wishers whose generous support is ensuring the success of these projects. As I conclude, I once again salute Zimbabwe Defense Forces for their selfless commitment to safeguarding our national independence, our sovereignty, our territorial integrity, and our national interests. I equally congratulate you for the milestone achievements in the ZDF, which continues to realize towards peace and unity in our motherland, Zimbabwe. The Defense Forces remains a disciplined and a trusted people's army. As Commander-in-Chief, I thank you all, the officers, men and women of our defense forces, for the resilience, loyalty, professionalism, discipline, and unflinching patriotism you are displaying in your selfless service to our motherland, Zimbabwe. Ndinoti kwamuri mose, tinokutendai, siyalibonga lonke. Nyika yedu yose Zimbabwe inokutendai mabuto yedu. Siyalibonga. Our nation salutes you, and we thank you all, the people of Zimbabwe, for the peace, tranquility, and the unity we are enjoying. With these remarks, I say, happy, happy, happy 45 Zimbabwe Defense Forces Day. Happy, happy, rugare kwamuri vana veZimbabwe. I wish you all and your families, as well as the entire nation, enjoyable and safe commemorations. Long live our defense forces. Long live our peace. Long live our unity. Long live independence. Long live freedom. Long live solidarity. Long live sovereignty. God bless you all. God bless Zimbabwe. I thank you.